Hey everyone, it's Sammy from Push Square, and we're in a pretty awesome little spell for PlayStation VR, aren't we? People say I'm too critical on this channel, but I tell you what, I bloody love Super Hot VR recently, and I'm actually similarly enamoured with Tiny Trax, which is the latest game from Velocity developer FuturLab. In fact, I kind of think this game is borderline genius in some regards, and I'm going to review it for you now, but before I get into that, please remember to hit the like button if you're so inclined, and subscribe to the channel for more PS4 content. Right, so Tiny Trax, let's get into it. This is one of those games that, if you have experience with virtual reality, you'll instantly understand what makes it so appealing than someone who doesn't. So this is essentially a slot car racing game akin to something like Skeletrix or similar brands, but it gets very imaginative with the tracks. The key here is that it uses PlayStation VR to almost sort of surround you by the circuits, and hopefully you can see by the way my head's moving around that I'm physically looking at the course, which I'm sort of immersed in. You know what, I think this is such a ridiculously good idea. I've been thinking a lot about third-person games in virtual reality lately, and this is another example of how well it works. I mean, I love the first-person immersion too, but games like this one, where you're inside a really compelling space, can be just as engaging in my opinion. There's no motion sickness, the graphics are gorgeous and look very FuturLab despite them being in virtual reality, and of course, most importantly, the gameplay works great. So this is one of those games that's stupidly simple to play, but incredibly challenging to master. There are only, I think, 15 courses spread across 4 sort of championships, which doesn't sound like a lot of content at all, but there's absolutely no way you're going to get all of the gold medals on your first playthrough. I've put maybe 4 or 5 hours into this now, and I'm just getting to the point where I can challenge for the top spots, so maybe I'm a slow learner, but I suspect most of you will get similar mileage out of the game. The way it works is, like I said, pretty simple. You accelerate on the straights, and when you get to bends you need to kind of navigate them by steering, but if you understeer then you'll slow down, and the same will happen if you oversteer. So there's a little green icon that shows you the sweet spot, and you can also feel it via the DualShock 4's rumble and stuff like that. FuturLab is very good at nailing really tight controls, and this is no exception. So the thing is, you have to get your cornering spot on if you want to win, and it's hard. The other thing is, when you get your drifts just right, you'll earn boost, which can then obviously be expended on the straights. So a perfect run requires absolute precision, which is where of course the replay value comes from. There's even a lane switching mechanic, which as far as I can tell you'll need to learn to get the best times on the leaderboards. So while the amount of content may seem a little disappointing on paper, you'll more than get your money's worth out of this if you take the time to learn it and master it. To be honest, the presentation is top notch, but you'd expect that from FuturLab really. Joris, the man who did some of the music in Horizon Zero Dawn, has composed the soundtrack, and it all sounds very FuturLab. If you like the music in Velocity, which Joris the man also worked on, then you'll be really happy with this. But it's the little touches that make the game sing, like the way the music mutes when you stick your head underwater, or the way 3D audio is utilised to make you feel like cars are whizzing past your face. And there's online multiplayer as well as a variety of different vehicles for you to try out, and all of the menus are presented nicely in a little 3D space. And to be honest, it's hard to fault the package. I wish it remembered which vehicle I selected last, and I do think it could have benefited from maybe a few more tracks, but that's mainly because I love the ones that are in the game, and I kind of want more, to be honest. Hopefully there'll be some DLC. But other than that, I kind of think this is essential if you own PlayStation VR. Like I said at the top of the review, it's just a super fun game to play, and it works great in virtual reality. You may think the game looks like it's not using the medium very well, but I actually think it is. It's a super comfortable game to play, but I really like the act of looking at this colourful, vibrant diorama and watching my car race all around it. Sometimes you'll be looking at the ground, other times over your shoulder. It's just really fun. So yeah, let me know whether you're going to get Tiny Trax in the comment section below. Would you like to see more third-person VR games like this one? Are you a fan of FuturLab's other titles? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more like it. And as always, thank you so much for watching.